Hello guys, welcome to Hank's Custom Rifles, Hank's Precision Gun Parts, another episode of Hank's TV. It's Monday night, April the 8th. It's about 7 o'clock and I've got a few things I want to go over with you guys today. Just to throw in there for a video. Maybe it'll help some of you, maybe it won't. But in the last video I showed you this Browning A-bolt that my customer wanted me to cut the barrel down and take the boss brake off of the original, off of this barrel that he bought off of eBay, and put it on the original barrel. This is a 25-06. This was a 270. At Browning at the time, the bore was the same size. It's a little oversized for a custom gun. If you was going to make a 25-06, you wouldn't put a 297, 287 bore, whatever they've got in here. You wouldn't put it on here. It would be a little smaller, but that's neither here nor there. We could talk about those numbers at another time. But the gun turned out good. I took it completely apart and bead blasted the entire barrel to action for him so that it would be back matching, look like an original finish. The scope mounts, of course, are chrome nickel plated, so we can't bead blast those. They're never going to match exactly like the action does. So I just wanted to show you that it is done. And what I learned is this barrel has 32 threads per inch on the tenon. This barrel has 16 threads per inch on the tenon. So somewhere along the line, Browning changed from 16 to 32. I don't know why they did it. I know why I would have done it. Finer threads are always stronger than coarser threads. So whenever you have a choice, if you can go with a fine thread, always pick a fine thread. So that's just the way it is. Fine threads are stronger than coarse threads, and they're easier really to machine. You don't have to cut as deep. Your tool's not doing as much work. They're just better all the way around. So somewhere along the lines, Browning probably figured that out and said, hey, let's make these 32 threads per inch instead of 16, and it'll make our manufacturing process a whole lot easier, tooling a whole lot less wear. Things will last twice as long, cut twice as many barrels with the same tool, and so on and so on. So the Browning A-bolt is done. Customer's coming tomorrow to pick it up. The other thing I wanted to show you is I had a customer send me this action. It's an Aero Precision action. It's the first time I've ever seen one. It's a Solus, and when I got it out of the box, fellas, I was impressed. I like this thing, and it's got dual ejectors in it. It's got a bolt stop on the side. It's got a 3-lug bolt. It's got a 70-degree lift. It's got an integral Picatinny rail. It's got an integral recoil lug. And I thought this thing was the cat's ass. I like this thing. So when I pulled the cocking piece out of the bolt, it's got dual cocking pieces. I've never seen that on any other action ever, and I've taken every kind you can imagine I've had in this shop. I've taken them apart. It is a... I'm going to walk up a little close to the camera and show you guys. Let me get around up here and just show you this thing. The machining on it is excellent. It's cut out for a magazine feed, and it's got a trigger hanger that goes in here. It's only got one screw, holds trigger hanger in, so it kind of slips in here and then clips down. One screw holds it in, and like I said, guys, I'm impressed. I'm going to buy some of these, I think, and build up a few guns on these just to see how they go. But another thing I wanted to show you was the field strippable bolt. We pull the bolt out, and you rotate this bolt backwards, and that allows this to come out. That's all you got to do to take that apart. Now, there's a lot of field strippable bolts out there, and they're all good. But this one's got 2 cocking pieces. There's one here on the very top. There's one here on the bottom, and then you can see the cams that are in the bolt. You got a cam in the top of the bolt, and you got a cam on the other side of the bolt. I believe this is the top and this is the bottom, but either way there's a cam on each side. So it allows you a little better, little less leverage to have to push up because you're pushing up in two spots. It's got center mass, I would call it, so it's pushing back in two spots instead of just one. It's cocked in two spots instead of just one, so instead of this thing sitting in here with all the pressure on the bottom, which is driving the firing pin up in the bolt body, y'all picture this working this way, right? You've got two pushing back at the same place, so it's holding that firing pin more straight, in my opinion. That's what I'm thinking here is happening with this. So to lock it back in, you just slide these back in, and you can't put it in backwards. They've made it to where it only goes in one way, which is really nice. And you just push it in, turn it about 1/8 of a turn, and it's locked back in there. It's ready to go. Okay, fellas, this is nice. First one I've ever had, Aero Precision Solus. I'm not sponsored by them. They're not paying me to tell you that this is a good action. I'm just telling you it's a good action because I think it's a good action. We'll find out when I get a couple of them in the shop and build some guns on them. So, have you ever had those days that you feel like you just went backwards all day long? I had one of those days today, and I'm going to tell you guys about it. And part of it is to do with this Solus action. So the customer wanted me to put a number 17 barrel on here, 28 inches long, 18 twist. He wants to make a real long range muzzle loader out of it, and asked me if I could put it on this action. Well, over the phone I said, yeah, it's bolt action, it's got locking lugs on it, right? And he said, yeah, it's got 3 locking lugs. And I said, okay, I can put it in there. My bat action has 3 locking lugs, and I was able to do it on my bat with a little bit of modification. This one would take a lot of modification to make it work the way I wanted it to work. So I went in the machine, put the barrel in the machine, I threaded the barrel, I set it all up, I put the breech plug in the barrel, I screwed the action on, I checked the headspace, I got the headspace, everything was perfect. I turned the barrel around, I put on the muzzle brake, I got everything done, it was all done. I mean, this thing was done. We blasted the barrel, we was putting it together, I actually screwed it on here, locked it down in place, and I went to put the breech plug in. And guess what? Breech plug wouldn't fit. It won't slide through the action because of the way the bolt face and the bolt head is designed. You can put about 650 thousandths diameter through the action. And the breech plug that I used was my HIS 5/8/18 breech plug, which is 750. We can't turn it down small enough to fit through here. And I'm not going to bore the action out and take away from the locking lugs. So, this is the barrel that I already had on this action today. So I've worked all day, ain't really got nowhere, just going backwards it feels like. But I was able to take the barrel off of this action, put it on this action. The barrel tenon was exactly the same diameter and the same thread pitch, so I didn't have to change nothing. The headspace on this was 1 inch and 25 thousandths, so it was sticking out farther than what I needed for the Defiance. The Defiance is like 958 or something like that. I'd have to look, but all I had to do to make this work was bore the breech plug deeper and set my headspace again. So we saved this barrel. It's not like anything's wrong with it. It's 100% good. We got the barrel now, and I just went ahead and put it on Defiance action so I could use it. I've got a build that requires this setup right here. Defiance action, Brooks 17, muzzle brake. So we're going to use this on the next build that comes through the shop. So we didn't lose out on anything but time, really. And I wasn't planning on working on this today. I was working on this guy's today. So I put a phone call into him. He hasn't called me back yet to find out what he wants me to do. I can put a barrel on this action, but I have to use the 9/16 24 breech plug. It'll go through there. You can get about 650 and this measures 625. So I'm just waiting on a phone call from him to see what he wants me to do. If it was me and I was him and I'm going to make him this offer. I'm going to tell him I'll just buy this action from you for what you paid for it, which is about $925, and I'll sell you this action and you're ready to go. Let's just trade out. Let's do it the right way. Let's use this 5/8 breech plug. Hopefully he'll go for that, and I'll turn this into a 6mm Creedmoor or 6.5 Creedmoor or something on a short action frame. You guys send me a message down there and leave me a comment. Tell me what you want me to build on this, and I'll build it for you. So if he'll sell me this, I don't know if he will or not, but they're nice. And I've looked at them on their website. They've got them available, so they're not like on back order or short-handed. So we can get this. So if you guys out there, any of you builders that might watch my channel, if you're a builder and you get a Solus action, the customer wants you to use it, just tell him no, you can't do it. Don't do it. You could put this 9/16 plug in, but this guy's wanting to build the ultimate powerful muzzle loader, and I don't recommend doing that with the 9/16 plugs. I've seen some heads come apart, separate on them. It's just a lot of pressure in there to hold back with this little plug. So it's not recommended, and let's hope this guy will just trade me out, pay me a couple $100 extra for the Defiance, and go that way. Until the next time, guys, I want to tell you, I'll put out the information if you guys want to see it. Let me know in the comments below, and that'll tie it up for this video tonight. We'll talk to you guys later and see you on the next one.